Okay, let's again we'll start with the market demand, right? So in the earlier lectures, we have seen that demand schedule, demand, what is the difference between individual demand and the market demand. So entire part, we have seen in the last lecture. So now today we are going to start with the market demand schedule. So as you know, we understood the what is the meaning of market demand, total demand of all individuals, simple definition, right? Total demand of all individuals, either all customers. So market demand schedule refers to the tabular statement showing various quantities, of a given commodity. See, now you can see market demand schedule refers to that it is a tabular statement. So what is showing? Showing various quantities of commodity that all the consumers are willing to buy at various level of prices during a given period of time. So this will, this definition we'll understand on the basis of this example. But first of all, let's see, uh, elaborate one by one statement. So basically, market demand schedule is a tabular statement. First thing. Second thing, it shows the various quantities commodity. Right. Third thing is consumers are willing to buy at any various level prices. In this situation, consumers are ready to buy various quantities at the various commodities with various level of prices, but during given a period of time. That is the simple definition. Now, it means it is the sum of all individual demand. So at each and every prices. See, I told you already what is the meaning of market demand. So, same thing, it is the sum of all individual demand. That is called as market demand. Sum of all individual demand, that is called as market demand. So, scheduled at each and every prices. So, market demand schedule can be expressed as dm is equal to da plus d, db plus dash 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 dash, where dm is the market demand, as you know. Dm stands for market demand, right? And da and db stand for the individual demand of household A, household B, household C, household D, household F, blah blah blah, right? So let's see again. uh, See, this is the simple example. On the basis of this example, you can understand the, exactly the meaning of demand schedule. So now in this case, price of commodity is given 5 rupees, 4 rupees, 3 rupees, 2 rupees, 1 rupees. So here is having household A. It means household demand for A, household B, demand for B, and market demand. So when price was rupees 5, household A person bought one commodity. At the same time, household buy two commodities. So total market demand, it becomes 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So definition of market demand is what? It is a sum of all individual demands. That is called as market demand. Right? So now when price of 4 rupees, at that time household A, it means what? Name of the person A. A person bought two commodities and B person bought three commodities. So market demand, it becomes 5. Market demand, it becomes 5. How it becomes 5? 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Right? So now when price was 3, right, then household B, A buy same quantity, three quantities, and household B buy 4 quantities. So 3 plus 4 is equal to 7, right? Just a minute. Now when price was 2 rupees, household A bought 4 quantities, and at the same time household B bought 5 quantities. So it becomes 9 again. Right? So that is called as market demand schedule. Market demand schedule, it is a simple definition, that is called as sum of all individual demand is equal to market demand. Right? Now again, as you seen in the earlier table, see, it is the elaboration given here in the table 3.2. Market demand is obtained by adding demand of household A and B at different prices. Price is different, 5 rupees, 4 rupees, 3 rupees, 2 rupees, right? At the same time, he's buying this one quantity, he's buying this one quantity, he's buying this one quantity. It means what? Customers are willing to buy commodity with the different prices. Consumers are willing to buy at various level of price of the commodity during given a period of time. So it means what? Meaning of this statement is, you can see here, when price of 5 rupees, so household A buy one quantity, at the same time household B buy two quantities. It means consumers are willing to buy various level of prices. Prices is changing every time, and quantity is also changing, right? Quantity is also changing. So this schedule is called as market demand schedule. Got it? And then
Yes.
again, when price falls to rupees 4, market demand rises 2 units to 5 units. So market demand schedule also shows the inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded as usual. So maybe this kind of question will be asked in the MCQs. Right? Market demand schedule also shows the diagram kind of relationship between the price and quantity. So your answer will be inverse relationship. Your answer will be inverse relationship. Now, the important point is given here. So observations is given below here. Demand. Demand is not for a particular quantity. It describes the behavior of buyer at every possible prices. Every time we cannot consider it's related to the demand for the quantity. So apart from that, it will be related to the behavior of the buyers. With the every possible prices. How they are buying, how they are behaving like that with the prices. So example, if there is a demand of 5 unit at 1 per unit, so demand for 4 unit at 2 per unit, and so on. It means what? Price for one quantity is buying one quantity, right? And price for for rupees the 5 to 4, it buy two quantities, right, etc. But demand is not fixed quantity. We cannot say demand will be remain fixed. We cannot say like that, because it changes with changing prices, either rather changes in the in the changing in the income level of the customers also. For example, there will be more demand for movie tickets at a price of rupees 50 per ticket than 150 per ticket. This is a simple example. Demand is not fixed. Quantity is not fixed in this case, because when price fall down, demand increased. Right? From 150 to 50 rupees, price fall down, then automatically demand will be increase of that quantity, tickets. So quantity demanded, it refers to specific quantity of the demand subschedule that demand against a specific price. When we talk about the quantity demanded, so in this case, demand against having a specific price, that is, it makes sense only in a relation to particular price. Example, 2 units are demanded at 4 unit per unit. So you can see simple example. Household demanding 2 units for rupees 4 rupees. Right? So these are the examples, simple example. Just keep in mind this entire table. So on this table, you will understand the basic of market demand schedule. Again, what is the meaning of demand curve? This is the most important part of the demand. From this chapter, demand curve will be asked in the examination maximum time. In the objective, in the short note, right, in the true or false, everywhere will be asked on the question of the demand curve. Now let's see, what is the meaning of demand curve? Demand curve is a graphical representation of demand schedule. Whatever we have studied in the earlier schedule, market demand schedule, it will be presenting in the graphical manner only. Nothing is difficult and nothing is different. Whatever we seen, in the earlier part, that is called as demand schedule. So that demand schedule representing on the diagrammatic form, that is called like graphical form, that is called as demand curve. Now, it is the locus of all the points showing various quantities of commodity that the consumer is willing to buy at various level of price as usual. During given period of time, assuming no change in other factors. Factors was not changed, right? But price is given, price will be changed in this case. But other factors are constant. Now it shows the relationship between inverse relationship between the quantity demanded of commodity and its price, keeping other factors are constant. So again, this question at this point will be asked in the examination. Now it can be drawn for any commodity by plotting each combination of demand schedule on graph. Whenever you are representing demand schedule on a graphical form, so you need to point, you need to show with the, with the dotted points only, like this, like this, like this. You need to show with dotted points, like this. Right? Now it can be drawn for any commodity by plotting each combination of demand schedule on a graph. Like demand schedule, demand cost can also be drawn both for individual buyers and for the entire market. You can make it that graphical representation from the point of view buyers, from the point of view entire market also. So demand curve is of two types. How many types of demand curve? There are two types of demand curve as usual: individual demand curve and market demand curve.
Okay.
Right? Now, individual demand curve refers to the graphical representation of individual demand schedule. That's it. Whenever you are representing, representing individual data on the graphical format, that is called as individual demand schedule. Right? So now we will understand with the on the basis of graphical representation. See, here is the diagram. Right? Here is quantity demanded and here is the price given. In the earlier example, price was rupees 5 to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? So we are representing in a graphical format, demand schedule, market demand schedule as a individual demand schedule. Now let's see again. Here is 5 price, here is 4 price, here is 3 price, here is 2 price, here is 1 price, right? So quantity demanded in units. Quantity demanded in units. When price was 5 rupees, right? Individual demand was rupees 1. Individual demand was rupees 1. How it comes 1? You can take a simple example of this one. Household A. We're considering, this example where we are going to study of individual demand as a household A. When price was 5, he purchased 1 quantity. When price fall 5 to 4, he buy 2 quantities. When price was 3, he buy 3 quantities. When price was 2, he buy 4 quantities. When price fall from 5 to 1, he buy more quantity. Right? So you can indicate with the dotted points and you can show PQRST, right? So now this is, in this diagram, most important part is that in the individual demand curve, it having upwards and the downward side. This question will be asked in the examination. Individual demand curve, right? It's it's having upward side and the downward side relationship. So this kind of question will be asked in the examination. So demand curve slopes downwards. This is the important point. Demand curve, it's a slope downward side from PQRST like this, right? So due to the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So this one, point will be asked in the examination at the MCQ. Individual demand curve, having this kind of downward side, either upward side, or slope having which side? Upward side, horizontal side, downward side. This kind of options will be given in the examination. So your answer will be DD, slopes downward side. Right? Now it was a part of individual demand. Now we can see as a market demand curve. So market demand curve, it means what? We can consider household A, plus household B is equal to market demand curve. Right? So market demand curve refers to a graphical representation of market demand schedule. It is obtained by horizontal summation of individual demand curves. Now we can define that example in the earlier example. Now here is having demand A and demand B. Both household is taken here in this example because it is a market demand curve. When you talk about the market demand curve, so it is the sum of all individuals. It is the sum of all individual demands. So DA stands for individual, either household A and household B, right? So when price was 5, household A by 1 quantity and this one by 2 quantity, right? Household A by 1 quantity and this one by 2 quantity. Let's see with the example, you can understand. See, household B by 2 quantities and household A by 1 quantity. So it comes 3, right? It comes 3. That is called as market demand schedule. Now again, when price was 4, he by 2 and he by 4. Right? He by 4. Price 3, he by 4 and he by 5. Right? So same thing will happen in this case. The market demand curve also slope downward side. So market demand curve also slopes downward side. So DM, market demand is flatter than DA and DB. Again, this will be asked in the examination. DM is flatter than, DM is dash than DA and DB. Your answer will be flatter than, right? Again, it is showing the relationship between price and quantity demanded, right? Now then again, what is the meaning of market demand curve is a flatter? Why it is called as market demand curve is a flatter? Now let's see again one by one. Market demand curve is flatter than the individual demand curve because this happens because as the price changes, proportionate change in market demand is greater than the proportionate change in individual demand. Both are changing because of the reason price is changing. Due to the reason of change in price, proportionately changes in the market demand as well as proportionately changes in the individual demand also. Now, slope of curve is defined as the change in the variable on the y-axis of divided by change in the variable on x-axis. If y-axis is changing, at the same time, x-axis is also changing. So the slope of demand curve equals a change in price. Now objective. In the market demand curve is, in the market demand flatter curve, slopes is having that kind of change. The slope of the demand curve is equal to the change in price divided by the change in quantity. That is, slope of demand curve is equal to change in price divided by change in quantity. So what are the reason behind that to changes in that price and quantity? Because of the reason changes in the price, right? प्राइस चेंज होगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली बाकी क्वांटिटी में भी चेंज हो जाएगी और डिमांड में भी चेंज हो जाएगी वहां पे, राइट? So now, due to inverse relationship between price and demand, the demand curve slopes downward side. Now demand curves downward side, right? So slope is negative. अभी देखो यहाँ पे again MCQ. In the market demand, in the flatter market demand, demand curves, slopes downward side. It indicates slope dash positive, negative, neutral, whatever. Your answer will be negative. Now, slope of the demand curve measures its flatness or steepness. So it is based on the absolute change in the price and quantity. Now let us understand with the example. Let us calculate the slope, shape slope of demand curve with the help of given diagram. Let's see. In this case, in the given diagram, when price falls from 8 to 4, when price fall 8 to 4, right? Then the quantity demanded increases. Quantity demanded increases. Let's see. In the earlier case, he buy 2 units, but after that, when price fall down, he buy 4 units, right? So in such a case, slope of demand curve will be like that: 4 minus 8 by 4 minus 2 is equal to minus 2. Now how it comes? Because changes in price. How much change in price? 8 to 4, right? 4 minus 8.
Oh, yeah, 4 minus
Change in
8.
quantity. The quantity was 4 and 2. Now in this case, 4 and 2. Here is example, right? 4 and 2. So your answer will be minus 2. Why? Because it's a changes happen between the quantity and price. So this point you can show change in price minus 4, change in quantity equal to 2. You can show like this, right? So this is the slope of demand curve. Got it?
Yeah.
Now again we'll proceed for the law of demand. Again, this is the important part from the demand chapter. In our daily life, it is normally observed that decrease in price of commodity leads to increase in its demand. We have seen in our normal day-to-day life. When price fall down, right, demand will be increased. This is simple funda of demand. Now, such behavior of consumers has been formulated as law demand. This is called as law of demand. Now, law of demand states the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Right? In this case, it is having relationship between price and quantity demanded. Now, keeping other factor constant. In this case, other factor remain constant. But what is changing? What is changing? Price and quantity demanded. Right? Now, but for this law, what is the simple definition of law? Decrease in price leads to increase in the demand. This theory is called as law of demand. But for this demand, for this law of demand having some assumptions, it is not applicable for universally. So assumptions are there for the law of demand. Now let's see which assumptions are there. While stating the law of demand, we use the phrase keeping other factor constant, or ceteris paribus. This phrase is used to cover the following assumptions on which the law is based. अब इसमें मतलब क्या होता है ना? Keeping other factors are constant apart from price. Apart from price. Now let's see. Price of substitute goods do not change. First assumption. If price of substitute goods do not change, right, then your demand will be remain same or increasing. Price of complementary goods remain constant, right? Other factors are constant. So what are the factors? Price of the substitute goods are same. There is no change, right? Price of complementary goods remain constant. Income of the consumer remain the same. There is no exception change in the price in the future. Taste and preference of the consumer remain the same. The law of demand can be better understood with the help of this example. Let's see how. When price of your goods was ₹5, you buy one goods at the quantity. When price fall down from 5 to 4, you purchase more quantity, that is called as 2. When price fall down from 4 to 3, you can buy more quantity from 2 to 3. When price fall down from 3 to 2, you can buy more units, that is called as 4 units. When price fall from 2 to 1 rupees, you can buy more quantity, that is called as 5. It means other factors are constant, but price is decreased only. Your substitute goods are constant, do not change. complementary goods price is not, price is same, income of the consumer remains same, but price of the commodities fall down. That is why increasing in demand. That is why increasing demand. There is no expectations to of change in future prices. You can take a simple example of anything, not taste and preferences. So on the again, DD curve is having a slope downward side again. In DD, your demand, slope down, your slope is having downward side. Now again, let's see another example. Demand schedule, example price 4, 3 to 1. Quantity is given here. When price was rupees 5, you can buy one quantity. When price fall down from 5 to 4, you can buy two quantities. When price fall down from 4 to 3, you can buy three quantities. When price fall down from 3 to 2, you can buy four quantity. When price fall down from 2 to 1, you can buy five quantities. Right? So what are the other factors are constant? The quantity demand of commodity depends upon many factors beside the price of the given commodity. If we want to understand the separate influence of the on one factor, it is necessary that all the other factors are kept constant. Therefore, while discussing the law of demand, it is assumed that there is no change in the other factors we have seen earlier. Only price will be changed of the commodity, but rest of the factors is remain constant. Rest of the factors will remain constant. Now let's see again, what are the important factors about the law of demand? Inverse relationship, first one. It states that the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. It is simplify that, affirm that increase in price will tend to reduce the quantity. Simple point, keep in mind. When increase in the price of the commodity, it tend to reduce the quantity of demand, because we can say when price increase, demand fall down. That is called as inverse relationship between the quantity and the price. As well as if price fall will lead to increase in the quantity demanded. If price fall, then again increase in the quantity demanded. Now qualitative, not quantitative. This is another factor. It makes qualitative statement only, that is, it indicates the direction of change in the amount demanded and does not indicate the magnitude of change. अब इसमें क्या होता है समझ लेते हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे फिर से. It makes qualitative statement only, that is, it indicates the direction of change. It is showing the direction of change in the amount demand and does not indicate a magnitude of change. इसमें क्या होता है ना, it shows the direction of changes. What kind of changes is happening in the market about a particular product, either fall down, either increase. So that is called as qualitative, either not quantitative. So no proportional relationship. It does not establish any proportional relationship. There is no showing this law of demand. No proportional relationship is there between change in price and the result change in demand rate. Why? Because if price rises by 10% of the quantity, demand may fall by any proportion. If price is increased, automatically demand will be fall down with this, proportionately. Then last but not the least, that is called as one-sided. Law of demand is one-sided as it only explains the effect of change in price. In this law of demand, consider only one factor, that is called as price factor is considered. That is why it is called as one-sided. Other factors are not considered, right? So on the quantity demanded, it said nothing about the effect of change in quantity demanded on the price of the commodity. So these are the important factor about the law of demand is given there. So maybe in the examination, this question will be asked like this: what is the meaning of law of demand, and explain its important factors? Either what is the meaning of law of demand and what are the factors affecting on the demand? Right? So you can You need to keep in mind these points only. Now, again, derivation of law of demand. Let's say understand what is the meaning of derivation. I hope you understood up to this. Is there any doubt?
Yeah. No.
So, according to the law of demand, demand for commodity rises with fall in prices. Again, commodity rises with fall in prices. When price fall down, commodity
Sir,
rises. When vice
sir,
versa.
for the I have a question. For the second point of the facts, I did not understand that. What do they mean by magnitude of change?
This one point, right?
Yeah.
Just a minute. Once again, I'll repeat it. It makes a qualitative statement only, right? Qualitative statement, it indicates the direction of change in the amount demanded. You know, in this point, it's showing to us direction only, in which way our, demand of commodity is going on. Either, upward side or the downward side,
Mhm.
right? So, and does not indicate the magnitude of changes, it is not showing, how much percentile is changing in that, quantity demanded, either X, X commodity demanded, etc. So it means what? It's showing
Okay.
direction. It's going on upward side and a downward side, right? Got it?
Yeah.
Again. So according to the law of demand for a commodity rises with fall in its price and vice versa, keeping all the factor constant. Only price is changing. Only price is changing. Again, in this case, having some inverse relationship between the price and demand, as given by the law of demand, can be derived by marginal utility is equal to price conditions and the law of equimarginal utility. Let us go into the two details, right? अभी हमें इसमें क्या देखना है कि मतलब how many types of law of demand. First one is marginal. What is the meaning of marginal? Do you remember?
Uh,
Guess it.
when there is an additional when there is an additional
In economic terms, there is a
yeah,
specific
I
word.
forgot.
Just try to
I forgot the
recall it.
exact word.
I think so. Utility.
Yeah.
When you
When
get
there is additional utility.
right, that is called as in simple terms when you get more satisfaction than your expectation. Right, that is called as marginal. Right. So again, we will continue after this, this session. Right.